the last few weeks I've been painting up some silver Templar Primaris Space Marines, and for a complete change, well for me anyway, I've based them up on a Red Planet style base. A few people on Twitter and Instagram commented on the bases and asked how I'd painted them, so with that in mind I decided that I'd try to make a painting guide. The bases that I'll be painting are for a unit of 3 Space Marine suppressors. The ground texture has been built up using orchid bark, small gravel, fine sand, Games Workshop crackle paint, really doesn't matter which one as it's going to be painted over anyway. I also added some skulls from the Games Workshop skulls pack. Once dry, I spray undercoated with Halford's Camouflage Ultra Matte Brown, but any dark brown will work. Just before I get started, I want to give a shout out to Woolen Games. Woolen Games is an independent game stockist. They not only carry a huge range of Games Workshop products at up to 20% off RRP, they also have ranges from Warlord Games, Fantasy Flight Games, Atomic Mass Games, as well as all the paints, brushes, hobby tools and everything else you might need. I've put a link below, so check them out. They're a great team with fantastic customer services. I truly cannot recommend them enough. To get the main colour for the base, first I gave it a very heavy dry brush of corn red covering almost the entire area, leaving only the deepest recesses brown. This is followed by a lighter dry brush of Mephiston red, once again making sure to leave the previous colours in the deeper parts. Finally, a light dry brush of light orange was applied to the edges as extreme highlights. To intensify the colour, red ink was washed all over the base, then to add extra shading and contrast, Agrax Earthshade was brushed into the recesses. The skulls were picked out with Screaming Skull, washed with Agrax Earthshade, then once dry, Screaming Skull was again used to brighten up the skulls. Once all paint and washes were thoroughly dry, a rust-coloured dry pigment powder was dusted over the base. This adds extra contrast, texture and a nice dry dustiness to the base. Please note, pigments can be very messy and really annoying to clean up, so ensure you have suitable covering on your worktop before starting. Once applied, matte varnish was lightly sprayed over the bases to lock in the pigment. Try to do this very lightly over multiple thin coats so that the pigment remains in place. Once the varnish was dry, the skulls were highlighted with Flayed One Flesh. Grass tufts were added and then dry brushed with Flayed One Flesh, and the base rims and flight stands were painted matte black. I hope that you've enjoyed this, my first painting guide. Hopefully it won't be my last, so please leave any comments and suggestions down below. Until next time, happy geeking!